Hi everyone, myself Bidyutlata Sahoo, working as an assistant professor in the Department of CSE, Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today I am going to discuss about the advanced knowledge representation technique in artificial intelligence, which is nothing but the case grammars. These are the topics to be discussed. What is case grammar? Different cases of case grammar, optional cases of case grammar, generation of case frame with an example, few more examples. This is the topic learning outcome for this case grammar. So after the completion of every topic, students will understand something. See here, students can analyze the sentence structure in knowledge representation using case grammars to identify the semantic roles of words. So case grammar theory, it was proposed by the American linguistic Charles Fillmore in 1968 for representing the linguistic knowledge that removed the strong distinction between syntactic and semantic knowledge of a language. Here two different terms I have used. One is syntactic, another one is semantic. In my previous videos already I have discussed the knowledge representation techniques in artificial intelligence. Basically there are 4 knowledge representation techniques are there, like the logical representation, knowledge representation using semantic network, knowledge representation using frames, and knowledge representation using production rules. So all the topics I have covered in my previous videos. But the problem with other representation technique is like in logical representation, here like logics are applied, rules and methods are applied to represent the logic, especially proposition logic or predicate logic where many symbols are used. So for a layman or for any user, it is very difficult to remember all those symbols like disjunction, conjunction, implication, double implication, and negation, as well as the quantifiers like for, all, and their adjust, which are used in the proposition logic. So all these symbols we have to write, but the problem with the logical representation is to infer the output. It is very difficult, or to infer the conclusion from the set of premises. It is very difficult. So we have to simplify the logical representation technique. We have used the knowledge representation using semantic networks. So where the knowledge can be represented in the form of graph, like in our sentences, like all the nodes and all, every class, subclass, and the attributes can be represented in the form of nodes, and every node can be represented in the form of arrow marks with some levels. Now after that I discussed about the knowledge representation using frames, where the knowledge can be represented in the form of like rows and columns, where here also like the rows will here the main the attributes from the concept, from the situation, or from a paragraph, we can find out what are the main attributes of the subject. Those attributes are represented as the header of the row, or which are called as the slots, and we inside the slot values we used to represent. So that is called as the slot filter representation, or slot values, we can say. That is the frame representation. And one more representation I discussed, that is the production rule, where the knowledge can be represented using the if-else condition or if-then condition. That is the production rule of representation knowledge in artificial intelligence. But this topic, in today's topic, which is nothing but the advanced representation topic, which is like case grammar. So the scientist, the American linguistic Charles Fillmore, what he tried to improve, he tried to remove the strong distinction between the syntactic and the semantic knowledge. Syntactic means the syntax, the rules which you apply for the representation of the knowledge, and semantic means the meaningful application of the meaning to that knowledge. So that is why I try to remove all these problems in the previous knowledge representation techniques. So these are the various cases of case grammar. Basically, he introduced 6 different cases which are called as thematic cases or the roles. So thematic, here the meaning of thematic cases is nothing but the representation based on the theme or based upon the subject. That is why it is called as the thematic cases or the roles. So these are the 6 cases he introduced. The first case is assentive, which is nothing but the agent. Second case is the absective, means the object. Third one is the instrumental, nothing but the instrument. Fourth one is the dative, which covers the experiencer, means the person who will experience is called as the dative case. And factive, which covers the result of the action. After performing the action, some result will outcome. So that is called as the factive case frame. And locative means location of an action, where the action is going to be performed or where the action has been performed. So the location is called as locative. So these are different case frames. So the linguistic Charles Fillmore, he tried to define or try to simplify the previous knowledge representation technique by introducing all these case frames. Like in our simple English sentence, we can identify what are the agents, who are the agent, what is the object, what are the instruments are used to perform the action, who is experiencing, and factive means what would be the outcome of the agent, outcome of the result, and the location where the action has been performed or where the action will be performed. So those things we can identify. That would be the best representation of the knowledge according to him. So it is nothing like that all the cases or all the case frames we can find out in a single sentence. It may be 2 case frames, or it may be 4 case frames, or it may be 5 case frames. That depends upon the type of sentence, or that depends upon the presence of the agent, object, instrument, experiencer, or the factive or locative. Now, what is the goal of case grammar? The ultimate goal of the case grammar theory was to extract the deep meanings of sentences and express in the cases. That is the main intention or the goal of the case grammar, which was developed by Fillmore. He wanted to extract the deep meaning of the sentence by applying all these case frames. So, expression of each word in the form of case frame by extracting the meanings. That is the goal of the case frame. Now, one of the scenario we will see here, different meanings would lead to different case structures. Means if 2 sentences have different meanings, then they can be in the different case structure. But different syntactic structures with the same meaning would map to similar structure. What is the meaning of this statement? Different syntactic structures. Maybe the 2 sentences syntactically they are different, but they may retain the same meaning. They have the same meaning. Then if they have the different syntactic structure and they have same meaning, they can map to the similar case frame. Now we'll see the example here. The door was broken by John with hammer. Second statement is given as using hammer, John broke the door. And third statement, John broke the door with hammer. You can observe in all the 3 sentences. Here hammer is there, here also hammer is there, in the third statement also hammer is there. So hammer is nothing but the instrument through which the action can be performed. So this is the hammer is considered as the instrument case. Second one, next one is the John. John is the person who is performing the action. So John is the actor. So here John is given, here also John is given, here also John is given. So John is the actor because actor is performing the action. And what is the object on which the action will be performed? The door. Here door is given, door and door. Door is the object. So in this way we can identify these 3 type of case frames. One is the door, which is the object. John is the actor and hammer is the instrument in all the 3 sentences. And if you understand, if you observe keenly these 3 sentences, though the representation of the 3 sentences are in different way, but they give or they provide the same meaning. The door was broken by John with hammer. Using hammer, John broke the door and John broke the door with hammer. All the 3 statements provide the same meaning with a different syntax. So that is why this scenario says that if different syntactic structures with same meaning, they can frame to or they can map to the similar structures. That means in all the three sentences, we are getting all the same case frames. Means instrument is there, which is common in all the three frames. John is there in all the three frames. John, which is the actor, it can be considered as the actor case frame. In all the three sentences, it is there. Even door also, which is the object on which the action is performed, that the object case frame is also there in all the three sentences. So here, the act is breaking of door and will have the same case frame. I hope you might have understood. With the different syntactic structure with the same meaning can map to the similar case frame or similar structure. This is one of the scenario in the case grammars. Second scenario is the case frame contains semantic relation rather than syntactic ones. The case frame contains semantic relation. Semantic means the meaningful relation rather than the syntactic one. The semantic role, like the agent, the action, the object, and the instrument, are extracted from the sentence straight away and stored in the case frame, which represents the syntactic form of the sentence. For example, here we'll see John ate an apple and the apple was eaten by John. So in both the sentences will produce the same case frame, because there is the same case frame for active and passive forms of the sentence. So John is the agent here, performance action is the eat, and apple is the object. So in both the sentences are in, one is active, another one is passive voice, they also represent the same case frames. This is the third scenario, like sentences having the same syntactic parts. Means syntactically they are same. Means the representation of the sentences may be same, but having different meanings. Syntactically parsed, same syntactically parsed, but having different meanings are stored in different case frames. This is another scenario in the case grammar. Like what the sentence says, sentences may have different structure or different syntax or different representation. They may, the sentences may have the same syntactic part. Syntactically, they are represented like same, but they provide different meanings. So then in that case, they may store in different case frames. Now you see the example, mother baked for 1 hour and cake baked for 1 hour. It looks like both the sentences are similar. But in the first case, mother is the agent who is baking the cake for 1 hour. But in the second case, cake is the object. Cake is not the agent because it is an object. So that is the difference between these two sentences. Mother is the agent in the first case, whereas cake is the object in the second case. Though it looks like both the sentences are similar, but they have different meanings because case frames are different. Now, apart from these case frames, few more case frames are also available in case grammars, like time case frame, beneficiary case frame, from location, which is nothing but the source, to location, which is nothing but the destination, co-agent, and tense case. So these are the optional cases. It's not only it is fixed that these cases are available in case grammar. Apart from that, so many are there. So if we discuss, it will take more time, but the important one today I will discuss. So these optional cases are introduced to capture more surface knowledge in the case grammar. So one by one, we'll see for all the cases. I hope you can understand. The first one, let me discuss about the agent case. Agent is nothing but the instigator of the action. That means who performs the action. He or she will be considered as the agent case. Especially the noun phase of any sentence generally fills the agent case if it describes the instigator of the action. So typically the agent is the one who actively performs the action in a sentence. I hope you can understand. Agent means the person or the noun phrase who performs the action. Now you can see the example here. John died. Second statement, John was given a book. In the first statement, is John as an agent? No, John is not an agent. John is not performing an action. And you know, for dying, anybody will not perform any action. It is a natural death. Normally, we used to consider. So John died. So here the proper name is not an agent case, but it may be a dative or beneficiary case. So here John is not performing the action. So that is why John is not an agent. Second one, John was given a book. John is not performing in action, or John is not giving the book. John was given a book. So for that case, here in the second case also, John is not an agent. John is considered as a dative case or beneficiary case. That means somebody is giving book to John, so John will be benefited. So that is why John can be considered as the beneficiary or dative case. But if somebody is performing the action, John is eating an apple. That means John is performing the action, eating an apple. So in that case, we can say John is an agent. But in the first case, you can see John died. For dying, nobody used to perform any action. That is why John is not considered as an agent, even in the second case also. Now, second one is the object case frame. Object case frame means identity on which the action is performed, means the object on which the action is performed. The noun object being acted upon by the action is used to fill up the object case. Now you see the example, the door broke. Second example, John broke the door. Here the noun is door. So door is the object in both the sentences. So here is in the first sentence door is there, in the second sentence also door is there. So door is the object case on which the action is performed. Third one is the dative case. Dative means animate entity affected by the action. It is basically refers to the object and action that is animate. That means noun which is living thing. Now John killed Mike. Who is the dative case here? John is the agent. Killed Mike. John is performing the action. To whom? Mike. So Mike is the dative case, right? So this is the way we can recognize which one is the dative case, which one is the beneficiary case, who is the agent, what is the action. Now two more things are there. John can be the agent, killed can be the action case frame, Mike is the dative case. Then fourth one is the experiencer. That means animate the objects in an active sentence with no agent. Sometimes we have the sentences having intransitive verbs, verbs with no object, and then the subject of such sentences are considered as the experiencer. Now you can see the example. The first example is John cried. Mike laughs. Second example, Mike laughs. Now John cried. So John is experiencing because he is crying. Mike laughs. Mike is experiencing, is laughing. So that is why both John and Mike are considered as the experiencer case frame. Next one, beneficiary. Somebody will be benefited by some other person. Means animate who has benefited by the action. So it is an animate person for whom a certain event is performed for his benefit. Now you can see the example. I gave an apple to Mike. I am giving one apple to Mike. That means who will be the beneficiary here? Mike is the beneficiary here. Beneficiary case. I gave an apple to Mike for Mary. So Mary is the beneficiary. But who is the dative case? Mike is the dative case. I is the agent. Myself is the agent. I am performing the action. Giving is nothing but the action case. Apple is the object. Mike is the dative case. Mary is the beneficiary case. And in the first sentence, the same way, I is the agent, gave is the action, and apple is the object, Mike is the beneficiary case. So this is the way we can find out all the cases in a particular sentence. Sixth one, location case, or means the place of action, where the action will be performed or where the action has been performed. So location case can further be enhanced by two more case frames. One is the source location and destination location. Now you see the example, the man was killed in garden. Here garden, where the man was killed, garden. So location is garden. So garden is the location case. Second example, John went to school from home. So school is the destination and home is the source. So we can represent school is the destination location and home is the source location. And who is the agent here? John, right? And went to school from home. Seventh one, the instrument case. Entity which is used to perform the action. That means if some instrument is used to perform the action, then it is called as the instrument case or it fills the instrument case. Now you see the example. John ate an ice cream with spoon. John is the agent. what is performing? Eating an ice cream with spoon. So what is the instrument here? Is using spoon to eat ice cream. So spoon is considered as an instrument case. Second example, John saw a star with telescope. How he saw the stars with the telescope? So telescope is considered as the instrument case. John is the agent case. Now, eighth one, co-agent case. In some situation, what happens? Two people perform the same action at a time. Then the first person is called as the agent and the second person is considered as the co-agent case. Now, you can see the example here. John and Mike lifted box. Both of them together, they are trying to lift the box. So, here John is the agent and Mike is considered as the co-agent. John lifted the box with Mike. So, John is the agent and Mike is the co-agent in the second case also. So in both the cases, John is the agent, means the first person, and the second person who is helping for performing the action is considered as the co-agent. Then the time case or the time of action means the case basically contains the time when the action was performed. For example, John went to market yesterday at 4 o'clock. Yesterday at 4 o'clock, these two comes under the time case when the action was performed yesterday at 4 o'clock. So those two stored in the time case. Tense case. Already we are habituated with all the tense, present tense, past tense and future tense. That also we can recognize by seeing the sentence. So tense of the sentence can be stored in the order to generate the surface structure of the sentence. Like I am going to college. Every day I am going to college. So here tense slot may contain the present continuous. So normally, so I hope you might have understood all these case frames, how we can find out the cases for a particular sentence. So which would be easy for any layman, even though people those who are not aware of artificial intelligence also, they can understand how to represent or how to recognize, even they have minimum knowledge about the English. Normally, looks like normal English grammars. So these are the questions associated with the cases. It comes in our mind while solving or while representing the knowledge using case grammars. So it should be noted that cases are associated with the questions about the event. Like first one, the case is action. So whenever we used to find out the action from a sentence, what question it comes our mind? What was the event? Similarly for agent, the question it comes our mind, who did the event? For objective, what was involved in the event? For beneficiary, whom was it done and or who was the beneficiary? And for time, when was the event done? And for the location, where was the event done? So this type of questions comes in our mind, and based on the question, we used to identify the different case frames or in a particular sentence. Now we can see how to represent. Actually, after learning all different types of case frames, now you know how to identify the different cases from a particular sentence, but how to represent actually. As the name is called as case frame, we have to represent everything in the form of tabular format, in the form of rows and columns. So this is a sample example for the case frame for a particular sentence. Here the sentence is given on the screen like John gave an apple to Mike in the kitchen, or Mike was given an apple by John in the kitchen. The same meaning. Both have the same meaning. Now we have to identify all the cases from the given sentence. So in the given sentence, so you can see now the action. What is the action? Action is give. Action is give. No need to write gave because it is given in the past tense. We have to write in the present tense only. So action is the give. Then who is the agent here? Agent is nothing but the John. Then what is the objective? Object case. Objective means what is the object? Object is nothing but the apple. This is the objective. Then who is the beneficiary? John gave an apple to Mike. Who will be benefited? Definitely Mike. So beneficiary is Mike. And what is the time case? Time case is John gave an apple to Mike in the kitchen. So time is was given. John gave an apple. So from gave you can understand this action was performed before. So that is why the time is past tense. And the last one is location, where this action has happened, in the kitchen. So that is why location is kitchen. So John, gave, apple, Mike, kitchen, everything it is we can represent using different case frames. I hope you might have understood how to recognize all the cases of a particular sentence, and we can represent in the tabular format. I will explain, or I will show you few more examples also, so that the concept will be clear. Now, these are the more examples. The first one, you see, the doctor prescribed medicine to the patient. So, doctor is the agent here. Prescribed means the action. Medicine is the object. Now, all the three things you can represent in a tabular format as like this, as before, as like this, as I have explained. The similar case frame you can represent. Second one, the teacher gave homework to the student. Here, teacher is the agent, gave is the action, homework is the object, and student is the recipient. Now, she cut the paper with scissors. So, the agent. Who is the agent? She. And what is the action? Cut. Paper is the object and scissor is the instrument. John felt pain after the accident. So, who is the experiencer here? Who is experiencing? John is experiencing, because after accident, John will feel pain. So, John is not considered as the agent because he is not performing any action. John is the experiencer here. Felt is the event, pain is the stimulus, and okay, it's done. Next one, at the park, the children played happily. So park is the location, children are the agent, played is nothing but the action. The safe prepared a delicious meal in the kitchen. Safe is the agent who is performing the action, that is prepared, and delicious meal is the object, location is the kitchen. Next, the scientist conducted an experiment yesterday. Yesterday is the time, experiment was the object, conducted is the action, and the scientist is considered as the agent case. So these are the different cases. The mother baked a cake for her son. So mother is performing the action, what she is doing, baking a cake for her son. So who will be the beneficiary here? For whom she is preparing? For son. So son is considered as the beneficiary case. Mother is considered as the agent case. Baked means that is the action. Cake is the object. The courier delivered the package from the warehouse to the customer's house. From the warehouse, that is the source location, and to the customer house, that is the destination location. What is the agent here? The courier. Delivered is the action. Package is the object. Next, Tom felt excitement because of his promotion. So he is getting one result. So because of the reason, that is the promotion is nothing but the reason. Because of the promotion, he felt excitement. So Tom is not an agent here. He is not performing an action. He is experiencing happily excitement. So Tom is considered as the experiencer. Felt is the event. Excitement is the stimulus, and his promotion. Promotion is nothing but the reason case. So whatever the words are given in the bracket, those are considered as the cases in a particular sentence, and all the cases we can write in, or we can represent in the tabular format as before I discussed. The last one, the artist painted a portrait using a brush, creating a masterpiece. Now in this example, artist is the agent, painted is the action, portrait is the object, brush is using, that is the instrument, and masterpiece is nothing but the outcome is the result. So all the cases, I hope you might have understood all the examples and all. So this is all about the representation of knowledge using simple case grammars and in the form of tabular format. So for the preparation of this video, I referred the Saros Kosek book for artificial intelligence as well as few YouTube channels. You can also refer it. Next class, I will discuss one more, the advanced knowledge representation technique, that is nothing but the knowledge representation using semantic web. Thank you so much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.